Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Real Country Jukebox Podcast with Raymond and James. We took a couple of weeks off after we did our March Madness bracket that we hope you guys all enjoyed. Today we're back to the album reviews, and today we're going to review William Michael Morgan's EP, On to Something. I'm going to say a couple of things before we get started. I saw William Michael Morgan for the first time, I want to say it was about 10 years ago. He had really long hair, and it was outside of... I have to be misquoted on this probably, but I'm pretty sure it was outside of like Winners and Losers in Nashville. That was my first time of hearing him and seeing him and all that sort of stuff, and I liked him right from the get-go. And before we get this started, I just want to say, as far as this EP goes, nothing I say or words to me can express how good this music is. I know everybody's had that time in their life where you've had your favorite artist growing up and you can't wait for this single to come out or can't wait for a new album to come out. And he gives me that feeling I had back with my heroes where I can't wait for him to drop an album or I can't wait for him to drop a single. He's just that good to me. So looking forward to that, but we're going to get into these 6 songs that he released.
Yep, I'm really looking forward to this too. The first time we saw him was in 2019. He opened up for Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
And it was, it's when you got Alan Jackson coming up behind you, you really got to hit a home run with it. But he did great, man. It was a great concert in general. And I'd love to go hear him again sometime.
And that's cool. Y'all actually saw him after he had made it.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw him, he hadn't even really made it yet. So I'm kind of jealous.
Oh, yeah.
But my day's coming.
Well, the funny thing was, when the concert was over, he stayed down there at the front and watched the whole Alan Jackson show.
I bet. That sounds like it.
Yeah, which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Starting it off, the first song on the album is Pour a Little Whiskey on It. And what I got from this song was, to me, it gave a very late 90s and early 2000s George Strait, how he kind of like, how George Strait kind of put like some Mexican beats in it? Does that make sense, Mexican beats?
Sure does.
Yeah, to me, the Pour a Little Whiskey on It song sounded like it could have been written for George Strait in that time period, about 25, 30 years ago.
And you nailed that. That's exactly what it sounds like. I wouldn't have been able to put those words, but you're exactly right. And I love how that whole song starts off with a fiddle.
Oh, yeah.
That's always good.
Same
the next track is Not Letting Go. You have a lot of heartbreak songs and love songs and whatnot in country music, but I like this one because this song, they both, and you'll know it by the lyrics, they both know it's over. But they love each other so much. There's no hate, there's no animosity. They still love each other, but they both are feeling that it's over, and that's kind of where they're at. We'll give one line, is she holding on to me, or am I just not letting go, which is the name of the song. Again, not your typical bad breakup song. The relationship's just ran its course. And, which to me, a situation like that, where you absolutely still love each other, but you know it's not right anymore, actually, me personally, would hurt me more than a bad breakup. Because a bad breakup is just a bad breakup and you're done with each other. But this is the opposite of that, which is just good country music.
Yo, I don't want George Strait this podcast to death, but it reminded me of, I know she still loves me, but I don't think she likes me anymore by George Strait.
Yes.
To me, it just kind of had that feel.
That was a great comparison.
But it's weird because a lot of times these new guys that come out that still have like a traditional, or not necessarily traditional, but like a very late 80s and 90s vibe to them, sometimes they'll remind me of like a specific artist. To me, he's like a combination of a bunch of them. There's not like one person I think like he sounds just like so and so. It's like one song might sound like George Strait, one might sound like Alan Jackson, one might sound like Keith Whitley, like that.
Not a carbon copy of anybody. You can just see all those influences.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I see it for that song. And another thing too, the same description you gave, man. I mean, to me, I'm not big on breakup songs in general, but the way that they went about talking about that one, it was kind of, the whole thing just made sense. It weren't like the girl bashing the guy's truck in with a bat or something like that,
right?
Or the guy, closing down the bar that night because he broke up with his girlfriend. It was a good, you know what I mean.
It was something fresh.
Yeah. So it's something you don't hear every day.
Yeah. The next track is In Walked You. In Walked You was the first release off the album. It's the first one we all heard. And at that time, I think I said it on one of the podcasts, but at that time when that song came out, it's hard to remember everything that comes out every year, but to me, that song was my favorite song I had heard released in probably a good couple of years. And you think a couple of years ain't much, but it is when there's music coming out every Friday. But to me, that was the best song that had come out in 2, maybe 3 years. And it's just a good, fresh song about just when you've given up on love and life and all that. In walked you, here it is, bam. You know, it's But yeah, that was the first one released, and now that I've heard that one so much and started listening to the others, you know how your favorites kind of drift away. That's probably really my favorite, but now that I've got all these new ones to listen to, it probably changes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just such a good song.
I actually had that one marked up here as my favorite, with Not Letting Go tied for second with the next one. But
Okay.
to me, In Walked You is what every country song should sound like. It's kind of just like that. Which I know I said that about Someday last week, but it's just kind of got that sound that you're definitely missing anytime you turn on the radio nowadays. You're not going to hear it unless it came out 30 years ago. You know?
Right.
So, but yeah, that's my favorite song up there. And when I listen to this album, I play that one more than any other.
Yeah. Track number 4 is She Don't Like Old Country. Now, when I saw the track listing before this came out, that one intrigued me the most. Because knowing, you know, what we've heard from William Michael Morgan and, you know, who his influences are and what kind of music he does, when I saw She Don't Like Old Country, I said, man, I don't know where this is going, but it's going to be cool. And it is. He's kind of talking about, or at least what I'm getting from it, he's kind of talking about She Don't Like Old Country. It's kind of like his style, you know, the cowboy boots, the hat, this, that, and the other, but also the lifestyle, you know, the lifestyle he lives out in the country, you know, that sort of thing. I like the line about when she's working on her swagger, because she's changed and I guess she's moved to the big city and she wants something different while he's the same old guy. I like the line about while she's working on her swagger, I'm listening to Haggard. And, you know, we've talked about this before. Haggard's name's dropped in a lot of songs by a lot of people because name dropping is just not, it'll get on your nerves when you don't think it's real. But obviously with this guy, we know it's definitely real. We've heard him cover some Merle Haggard, and I mean, it's just, if you know anything about him, you know who his influences are, and that's one of them. So, but I like the line too about maybe someday I'll come back around. I'll come back in style. I'll come back around, that kind of thing. Just that line might be my favorite line of the whole song. But She Don't Like Old Country, it catches you right from the get go with the title, and then it's everything that's advertised.
Yep, everything he said for sure. A couple more notes I want to add in. To me, it was a combination of Country Ain't Country No More by Travis Tritt and She Couldn't Change Me by Montgomery Gentry.
Yes.
It's like if you threw those two
You got
songs.
the comparisons down pat, man. You got them down pat.
I actually thought of a podcast idea of where we take like one song, give the description of it,
Yeah.
and then say like, did you just hear this song or this song, because they're practically the same thing 30 years apart, kind of thing. But anyway,
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think if you threw those two songs in a blender, you get this song here.
Yeah.
And he did very well with it too.
Yeah. Track number 5 is On to Something, which is the name of the EP. And this one's more simple, but it's just great country music. He starts out talking about, this is starting out good. We're not going to talk about the white picket fence yet, so we're not going to go too fast and too crazy. But she met my mama, she met my friends, she went to my hometown, all that sort of stuff, and talking about how love just comes easy. Love comes easy when love is coming easy and you don't have to try. It's just it just seems like it's more meant to be. It's a good song.
Yo, I don't have a whole lot to say about that one other than, I don't know if this makes any sense or not, but like, it almost sounds like it could have been like a Keith Whitley cover. Something he found that Keith Whitley did and covered it. I don't know. When I hear it,
Hadn't thought about that.
when I hear that song, it reminds me of some of his old stuff
Yeah,
that was like not released until later.
sure.
You know, that's pretty much all I have to say on it.
Okay.
It weren't necessarily one of my favorites, but I really did like it, and it just sounded like something from like the mid '80s kind of.
Yeah, it definitely does. Track number 6, the one that closes it all out. The sun don't shine anymore in Acapulco. To me, this sounds like, and I know he's heavily influenced by the Bellamy Brothers too. To me, this sounds like something the Bellamy Brothers would have done in the late '70s, maybe early '80s.
I hadn't thought of that.
That's what I get when I listen to this.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that, man.
But he kills it. I love the analogy, the whole, he's going out there for the birds and the sunshine and the getaway and all that sort of stuff. But now the sun's not shining, the birds aren't flying. You know, nothing looks like it did in this great getaway. But it's not really that it don't look that way. It's just that he's brokenhearted and he's lost his girl. I like it. I love the play on words, man. I love that song. And now talking about In Walked You was probably my favorite, but now this one's probably my favorite to listen to. So, because I've heard In Walked You enough that now I'm listening. The whole thing is just so good.
Oh yeah. To me, it reminded me of Tropical Depression by Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me that same feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all in all, man, the album was spectacular. The only problem I had with it, I really feel like he could have gave us about 12 songs.
The only problem I got with it is I want more. We want more William Michael Morgan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I was hoping that's where you were going with that. And talking about that last song, The Sun Don't Shine Anymore in Acapulco, sounded like a Bellamy Brothers song. He also, prior to this, did a duet with the Bellamy Brothers, his version of Let Your Love Flow. So y'all check that out too. If you like the Bellamy Brothers, you'll like Let Your Love Flow. I just want to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah.
But going back to what I was saying at the beginning, man, we've all got artists like these. There's less than 5 artists right now. I listen to a lot of artists, but there's less than 5 artists right now that I just can't wait for them to put out new music. And you got the same. You know how it is. And he's one of them, man. He's one of that less than 5. And it's just, this was fun to talk about. I hope we did it justice.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that dude again.
Oh, yeah. Same here, man.
So.
We got some more album reviews coming over the next couple months, maybe weeks. Just depends on how they fall. But that's all I have for this week, and we'll see y'all next time.